There are times in life when we feel vulnerable, susceptible to the whims and pressures of others. It's a feeling many people experience, but few openly discuss. We might unknowingly signal our weaknesses, even subtle ones, without realizing the impact. These aren't always obvious flaws. Sometimes they appear as virtues, like kindness, openness, or humility. However, in certain dynamics, I think these can be misinterpreted or exploited. This isn't about becoming manipulative, but about building an unshakable sense of self that allows you to navigate the world with greater strength and autonomy. Let's explore 3 common patterns that can leave us feeling disempowered and how to transform them into sources of strength. 3 common patterns that undermine your power. 1. The need to be understood. Most people deeply crave understanding. They want to be seen, heard, and validated. They believe that if they can just explain themselves well enough, others will finally respect them. But here's a crucial insight. The more you try to explain yourself, the more you might inadvertently signal that your value is up for debate. Every explanation can be perceived as an admission that your truth needs justification, that you require external approval to exist as you are. When someone senses this deep need for understanding, they might unconsciously withhold validation, leaving you to chase it, over-explain, or even confess more than you intended. While you're striving for clarity, they might simply be observing and learning about your emotional triggers. True power often resides in mystery and calm presence. When you become emotionally transparent too quickly, you can lose your inner edge. This doesn't mean you should never express emotion, but it means cultivating the strength to exist without constant external validation. Not everyone deserves access to your deepest truths, and sometimes, oversharing can be used to your disadvantage. To cultivate this strength, let your presence speak, instead of rushing to explain. Let your actions and demeanor be the primary communication. Embrace misunderstanding. Sometimes, don't feel compelled to correct every false assumption. Allow space for others to reveal their own perspectives. Observe more, speak less. When you stop trying so hard to be understood, people might start trying harder to understand you. This shifts the dynamic, empowering you. Point 2. The fear of being seen as bad. This is one of the most pervasive fears. It's often instilled in us from a young age. The fear of social rejection, of being labeled rude, selfish, mean, or arrogant. We're often taught to be nice, polite, and agreeable, not to make people uncomfortable or stand out too much. Not to say no too harshly, however. The people who navigate challenges with true confidence are often those who can tolerate being disliked. They don't need everyone's approval. They can withstand being misjudged without losing their composure. If someone senses that you're afraid of being disliked, they might use guilt, shame, or pressure to manipulate your decisions. Phrases like, "Oh wow, I didn't expect that from you," or "that's not very nice of you," can be subtle tests. If you flinch or shrink even once, you've shown a vulnerability. You don't need to instill fear in others. Instead, focus on releasing your own fear of being disliked. Start building your tolerance for being seen as wrong, selfish, or cold by those who might misunderstand your boundaries. Let people misjudge you and remain unmoved. Stop apologizing for having healthy boundaries. When you become the kind of person who can withstand criticism without losing your composure, people generally stop trying to push you around. They might still talk, but they'll do it from a distance because you're no longer reacting. You're observing. This makes you formidable. 3. The addiction to peace. Most people believe peace is the ultimate goal. They want everyone to get along with no tension, no conflict, and no risk. They desire life to be smooth, comfortable, and predictable. But true strength doesn't always grow in perpetual calm. It often grows from navigating challenges, discomfort, and necessary confrontations. The addiction to peace can make you soft, passive, and overly accommodating. You might avoid difficult conversations, tolerate disrespect, or suppress your genuine feelings, all to maintain a fragile temporary peace. But genuine empowerment doesn't grow in the absence of pressure. It grows from your ability to walk into conflict with calm eyes. The person who can stay composed in the middle of chaos naturally emerges as a steady presence. Stop making external peace. Your default goal, if it compromises your integrity, learn to enter tension without immediately trying to fix it. Let others squirm. Let go of forced harmony if it costs you your self-respect. When you release the need for constant peace, you become more resilient. You stop fearing arguments. You stop bending to make things easy. Suddenly people don't mess with you not because you're aggressive, but because you're not afraid of psychological or social pressure. You can walk into a room and radiate one truth. I don't need you to be okay with me. I'm okay without you. That right there is what distinguishes those who are icily influenced from those who stand firm. Rewiring your responses. Tactical applications once. You address these three underlying patterns: the need to be understood, the fear of being disliked, and the addiction to PCU. Stop living reactively. You stop being easily managed. You stop being a target. And then something shifts. People look at you differently. They might lower their voice when speaking to you. They'll second guess before disrespecting you, because now they sense something else. Not violence, not arrogance, but unshakable authority and self-possession. This is the beginning of true inner power. Eliminating these patterns isn't just about appearing strong. It's about becoming strategically resilient to those who might try to take advantage. Most people don't want to genuinely connect. They want to extract your time, your energy, your empathy, your agreement. And the reason they keep getting it is because you keep giving it away without realizing the cost. Let's go deeper into how. These patterns subtly manifest in everyday life through your body language, your decisions, and your responses, and how to calmly transform them. 1. Smiling to reduce tension. The smile is one of the most used signals in human interaction. For many, it's unconscious. They smile to disarm, to appear warm, to soften the room. However, sometimes, especially in moments of tension or uncertainty, a premature smile can signal, "I'm here to make you feel safe. I don't want trouble." Seek approval. In high-stakes environments, or around individuals who might seek to dominate, this can signal an immediate surrender of social tension, making others the perceived authority. The shift. Learn to maintain a neutral facial expression. Even under stress, allow others to initiate the smile or break the tension. Your calm presence in moments of silence creates space for others to reveal their true intentions. The most impactful person in the room isn't always the one who talks most confidently. It's often the one who feels no pressure to perform comfort. 2. Speed of response. Most people give off signals of urgency through their speed of response, movement, or agreement. You get a confusing or disrespectful text and you reply instantly. Someone asks for a favor and you say sure before you've fully thought it through. Someone tells a story and you jump in with validation or empathy, as if your value depends on it. However, constant speed can look like obedience. Fast reactions can signal a lack of self-possession. Others might come to expect immediate responses, allowing them to control the tempo of the interaction and, by extension, the dynamic. The shift. Slow everything down. Let people wait for your response. Not just texts, but in conversation too. If someone asks a question, pause. Let the silence thicken, then speak. Slowness in speech and decision-making signals one thing: deliberate power. Only those who feel truly secure feel entitled to wait. Those who are unsure often rush, scramble, and react. By making others wait, you can subtly shift the dynamic, allowing you to observe their reactions. When they're no longer in control of the rhythm. 3. Over-clarifying. Your intentions. This is one of the most quietly undermining habits. You say something with confidence, you stand your ground, and then 2 seconds later, you soften it with phrases like, "I didn't mean it like that. I just meant not to sound harsh, but ... Or I hope that didn't come across the wrong way." You think you're being thoughtful? You might inadvertently be seeking reassurance or begging for emotional safety. These clarifications can signal an anxiety about being misunderstood or fear of judgment. Once detected, your intentions can be seen as on trial. making you the defendant rather than the confident speaker. The more you clarify, the more unclear you might appear, because genuine power doesn't always explain itself. Power moves and allows others to interpret the shift. Say less and let it land. If someone misinterprets you, allow them that space. If they ask, "What did you mean by that?" you can calmly reply, "Exactly what I said." Let the ambiguity work for you. Once people realize you won't soften your stance to make them feel better, they stop assuming they can manage you. No, they might become the ones trying not to be misunderstood. They might explain themselves, shift their tone, or reevaluate their own words. In this reversal, you gain influence without saying a thing. The final transformation, strategic presence, these are not tricks. They're transformations in your mindset and habitual responses. You're no longer trying to be seen as good, explaining your value, or rushing to fix misunderstandings. Are still, you are watching. You are allowing others to reveal themselves, to overreach, and to react, while they scramble to interpret your calm presence. One thing becomes clear to them. You cannot be easily manipulated through social pressure. You don't flinch. You don't smile to please. You don't explain. You don't chase. You don't soften. Suddenly they treat you like a wild card, like something they can't quite categorize, like an unpredictable force. This is a powerful position to be in. In a world of people pleasers, the individual who shows no obvious strings becomes both respected and influential. You stop being a target and become a mirror, calm, steady, capable of reflecting their own behavior. When these three patterns of reactivity are stripped away, when you no longer smile to calm others, no longer rush to react, no longer over-explain, your every move you enter a final stage, ascendancy. The goal isn't just to stop being vulnerable, but to become the presence that quietly influences the entire dynamic. The one who doesn't chase, doesn't beg, doesn't flinch, but who is still. At the center of everything, respected, consulted, and often profoundly intriguing. This is what you might call strategic presence. You become harder to read, harder to predict, harder to move. In a world where most people are emotionally transparent, constantly explaining, defending, and reacting, you become something different. Calm force that the room naturally shifts to accommodate. To solidify this, there's one final principle. Cultivate true independence from external validation. Respect, approval, agreement, peace from others, these can become emotional weights, even bait for manipulation. When you truly release the need for these things, something profound happens to those around you. They no longer know how to control you. They lose the handles they used to grip, not because you've attacked, but because you've stopped being available to their tactics. So, let's reflect on three final insights that seal this transformation. Reputation is a tool, not a mirror. Instead of constantly striving for your reputation to accurately reflect your inner self,
I'll understand
that your reputation is often for others. It should be strategically cultivated, not merely discovered. You don't need to over-explain or prove your goodness. By allowing a certain level of mystery, or even letting false narratives float without correction, you can control the narrative. When you stop using your reputation to seek approval, you can use it to shape perception, and perception creates influence. The most powerful language is often absence. When someone offends you and you say nothing, just maintain a calm gaze. When someone tries to bait you and you calmly remove yourself from the situation. When someone tries to win your favor and you remain genuinely unswayed, that absence can speak louder than any clever retort. Silence doesn't just create space, it forces reflection. It creates an emotional vacuum, and in that vacuum, others might overthink, regret, or reinterpret their actions. You never had to say a word. Strategic calm is a precise tool. Can cut deeper than an insult, leave no traces, and communicate one undeniable truth. You are not emotionally available for their drama. You don't need closure, applause, or to correct the record. Your calm is their mirror. True power isn't loud, it's earned through selectivity. The biggest mistake many people make when they want respect is that they ask for it, often by performing confidence, inflating their voice, or constantly offering opinions. But genuine power doesn't need to raise its voice. It raises the stakes by becoming selective. Selective with words, selective with reactions, selective with presence. To become truly impactful, become discerning. Don't always show up for everything. Don't respond to every jab. Don't give your insight to anyone who demands it. Be present less frequently, and when you are present, make that presence impactful. Make people work to earn your attention. Make your silence meaningful. Make your approval valuable. These are profound shifts. You're not just trying to be good anymore. You're cultivating an inner strength that makes you resilient and influential. This transformation isn't about becoming cold, but about becoming genuinely self-possessed, allowing you to shape your interactions and navigate the world with unwavering composure.